Now, I finally got a chance to. I know this is a week old. It seems like an eternity, but I listened to Taxstone's podcast with Beanie Sigel twice.
Okay.
I just want to be on record as saying of saying this. I've said it on the Breakfast Club. I want to say it here again on the Brilliant Idiots. Got nothing but respect for Beanie Sigel, but that interview was complete and total bullshit. I don't care how much y'all say he was saying real stuff and spitting jewels. All I heard was a guy who was bitter, who was jealous, who was envious, and who was hating on Meek Mill. And whenever you have an older individual, or not even an older individual, any individual who says things like, that used to be me, or when I was in that position, things weren't like that, or I can do this better than you, you're just jealous. Mm-hmm. You're just envious. You're just bitter. Nothing more, nothing less. And, I was really, really just hurt after listening to that interview, because I just expect more from Beanie Sigel. And, it's easy to pile on Meek Mill and be like, Meek Mill, See, the thing with Meek Mill is a lot of people don't like him right now. So when you don't like somebody, you'll ride with anything that's against him.
Yes.
So even though Beanie is sitting there sounding jealous, sounding bitter, sounding envious, we still be like,
you want to hate Meek.
Yeah, you want to hate Meek. Beanie saying some real stuff. And, I look at people's resumes. I look at their catalog. I think back to the interview I did with Beanie Sigel when he was upset with Jay-Z back in 2009. And he really had no reason to be upset at Jay-Z either. Like, there was nothing behind that.
Who, Beanie?
No. Yeah, there was really nothing behind it. You're in essence, you're upset because Jay-Z didn't return your phone calls or you couldn't get in touch with Jay-Z. You got upset with Jay-Z because he came to the courtroom and he sat on the stand and, he said he wasn't going to take responsibility, for you. He told the judge that. In essence, Jay-Z was right. You know what I mean? He made the right call. Now, you fast forward to, the Beanie Sigel, Meek Mill situation. You're upset with Meek because, somebody said, hey, if you can get Meek for $100,000, I'll give you 15. And Meek didn't reply the way you wanted him to reply. So you say, I got to get next to him because I know he won't tell me no in my face or whatever it was. You just wanted to get next to him in the studio.
Wait a minute, what was the 100 to 15 thing?
Somebody offered him $100,000.
Who?
A concert promoter. Concert promoter was like, yo, if you can get Meek for $100,000, I'll give you 15. So that the Beanie. So I guess Meek wasn't replying the way that Beanie wanted him to reply. So he got upset about that. And to me, all of that is snakish, bro. I told y'all this last week, I'll say it again. A lot of those guys, and I can't even speak for a lot of those guys, but I'll say Beanie seems like he's loyal to those. His loyalty is based on who's presenting him with an opportunity in that moment. That's hard for me to respect, bro. Mm-hmm. It's just hard for me to respect. So, if y'all think that Beanie was saying some real stuff, salute to y'all. Me personally, I see through the bullshit.
Yeah, I'm just confused. So if he didn't get the $15,000 for this $100,000 performance, and that's what caused all this beef, Meek is supposed to perform just because?
Listen, man, you got to ask yourself, if a person is willing to stand next to you and say things like, yo, I want to get next to this person because I know he won't tell me no. Your intentions are just all wrong from the beginning. You're in the studio with Meek, acting like you're cool with him, but in the back of your mind, you really don't like this guy. But you get on the record and say you'll ride for him, you'll be in LA in 3 hours, and then 8-9 days later, you can't stand him. He's a sucker. He's not real. And I'm going to tell y'all something else. Stop saying men don't gossip, because that's something that people like to tweet me about. Oh, Charlemagne, you get paid to gossip. Beanie Sigel, the realest street nigga alive, was on Taxstone podcast gossiping his ass off. Non-stop. That was gossip. When he says things like, what I think happened is Meek rolled over and asked Nicki, yo, did you ever fuck him? And he ain't tell you the answer you want. That's gossip, bro. So stop it with these street niggas don't gossip.
Why are we acting like rap isn't gossip?
It's all gossip.
The whole genre is gossip.
Everything is gossip. What do you think we're doing on social media?
Social media, go back to any rap song, it's fucking gossip. Any story you told when Biggie fucked Anthony Mason's girlfriend or wife, that's fucking gossip. Right? You're just a fucking People magazine. You're Us Weeklying a rap song.
It's different. It's different. It's different when it's coming from you. No, it's different.
You can still gossip about you.
Biggie's I Got a Story to Tell isn't necessarily gossip because that's his story to tell.
Well, this is Beanie's story to tell.
No, it's not.
If you in the room,
he was in the room with Meek and Nicki while they was fucking.
No, I'm talking about when you're in the room. What? I'm talking about when he's in the room with Meek in the studio.
Oh no, I'm not talking about that part. I'm talking about the part where he specifically said Meek rolled over and said to Nicki, I bet you fucking Did you fuck him and she didn't give him the answer you wanted? That's gossip, bro.
Fuck who?
Drake.
Oh,
that's gossip. But listen, all I'm saying is, if y'all think Beanie said some real shit, cool. I personally saw through it. I feel like this is Beanie's track record. This is his resume. He didn't really have a reason to go at Jay. He really don't have a reason to go at Meek. And I just think that his loyalty lies based off who is presenting him with an opportunity at the time.
Yeah, it's just I knew there was something off about Beanie because he's from Philly and can't grow a beard.
He got a beard, man.
No, he doesn't.
It's not
That
as
shit is patchy.
it's not as lush as everybody
It's
else.
not that lush.
It's
For
not as
Philly?
plush as everybody else's, but he got a beard.
Dude, for Philly, that's a very light beard. You know what I mean? Can we? And that's something you have to be very concerned about. Look, can we talk about the L's that Philly has been taking? Philly is a constant loss machine.
What do you mean?
What the fuck is happening? You heard about Ben Simmons.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, a constant loss machine. What the fuck is going on in Philly?
Yeah, but you can't say that. You can't say that.
How no?
Because the Eagles are 4-0 right now. Carlson Wentz right now is balling.
Let me tell you something.
What?
That will stop.
And guess who else was from Philly? Kevin Hart, who just passed Jerry Seinfeld. Okay, stop it. Philly's just like any place else. It sounds good to have that narrative, but that's not the truth.
Kevin Hart only started popping off when he left Philly. Let's keep it very real.
Matter.
Kev don't live in Philly. If Kev lived in Philly, he
wouldn't have
be
a career.
Doing nothing. Exactly.
But you can't live in Philly. No,
Sam Bradford was injured every 2 games when he played for the Philadelphia Eagles. He is now a 4-0 quarterback. Well, he's 3-0, but the Minnesota Vikings are 4-0. Hasn't been injured once.
4-0, bro.
Eagles are
and that
4-0.
rookie quarterback is balling.
How much? I guarantee you that rookie quarterback's going down this season. I guarantee you the Philadelphia Eagles are going to fuck it up. I'm not wishing bad. It doesn't matter how many wishing wells you have. Philly? It's not going to help.
Will
if
Smith.
It's Philly. And what happened to him? He went to Bel Air.
So what?
He's
still from Philly.
And the second he went to Bel Air, shit started popping off.
The roots from Philly.
And where are they at? In New York.
Yeah, but you can't say it like it's Philly.
Hell yeah.
Like Philly's just like any other city. Philly has
Stop
great wins,
it with your defending nonsense.
And they got some great losses.
Tell me what great wins are still happening in Philly. I need to know the great wins that are happening in Philly. Right now, who is currently in Philly and it's going well?
Who's currently in New York and doing well?
Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose ain't even from here.
First of all,
what are you talking about?
You say currently. Did we not say currently?
Yes.
Yeah,
Jay-Z don't live here.
First of all, I just want
Diddy don't live here.
I want to say one point about Derrick Rose.
Okay.
If Derrick Rose plays well this season, he didn't rape that girl.
I don't think Derrick raped her anyway, but who am I?
But I will say, if he starts playing shitty, he absolutely.
I don't even want to talk about rape no more. You know why I don't talk about rape? Because rape is such a one-sided conversation. Rape is a conversation that men just can't win. Like, we are guilty. If they find us not guilty in the court of law, we're guilty in the court of public opinion. Are guys really out here raping girls? Absolutely. But when guys get found not guilty, I don't know why the concept of women, a lot of women lie about being raped is hard to grasp. Because guess what? It's not hard for me to grasp that it is dudes out here raping.
Charlemagne, women never lie about anything. Why would you think that they lie? A woman has never lied about anything in life.
I just don't get it. Like a woman will, salute to my girl Phoebe Robinson. I was just having a conversation with Phoebe, her and Angela Yee. Women will argue you down about how men are really out here raping women. I'm not disputing that at all.
Yeah.
But let me say, it's a lot of girls out here lying about being raped too.
Yeah.
The number of cases, sound like Andrew Stokes, statistically, the number of cases are so low with women being raped. I'm like, falsely accused of being raped. Like,
first of all, this is what I don't understand about that statistic. So that means we should discredit them?
I don't know.
That's literally like me going, listen, only 10% of the population has AIDS. Let them die. Just fucking let them die. It's only 5%. Let them die. Who cares?
I sat down with Nate Parker this week. I asked Nate Parker, I said, can a black man ever be truly not guilty in America?
Oh my God, here we go with this fucking victimology shit.
It's not victimology.
Yeah, man,
it's the truth.
Let's keep spreading this shit. Let's keep poisoning these young kids.
It's not victimology.
Poison their ears.
It's not victimology.
All right,
it's the
let's
truth.
go. What is it?
Because if you live in a society, and you can't dispute this, where some people look at you and just think you're big and you're bad, as we heard the cop in the helicopter say when that dude got gunned down, he looks like a bad dude. If we live in that kind of society, and then you're found not guilty in a court of law, but then your own people say, oh no, he raped that girl, he's guilty, even though he got found not guilty in the court of law. When can you ever truly be not guilty?
Found guilty?
He got found not guilty.
He got found not guilty.
That's what I said.
Well, I don't know.
What you mean? I thought I was in a court of law. You got
No, it was in a court of law.
What are you talking about?
Chris,
Shut up, Chris.
Talking off of my Chris, be quiet. Stop it, Chris. Chris, stop it. Now Chris is going to go into his Googles and then just hand you the computer at a most inopportune time.
What are you talking about?
Anyway,
the guy, his friend got charged.
John Celestine got convicted, but then they went back to court. But can we just go back to Philly? I just want to say one thing about Philly and how everything breaks in Philly. The Liberty Bell is in Philly, is it not? And does it have a giant crack in it? It absolutely does, because everything breaks in fucking Philly. That's what happens with Philly. It breaks the fuck down. If you stay in Philly long enough, it will break and crumble. You need to leave Philly immediately. That's not the case with New York.
I think you need to leave anywhere.
Not New York.
Unless you're really,
You don't need to leave L.A.?
Depends
Shit, you don't even need to leave Miami.
Depends what you're doing. If you're an actor in New York, you probably going to have to leave New York to go to LA.
If DJ Khaled lived in Philly, he would have 6 heart attacks by now. But the fact that he's in Miami and you can prosper in that city, he's doing okay. And he's extremely overweight.
But Khaled's spending a lot of time in LA now. You know why? Because he's in a different industry. Them TV gigs.
LA works, baby. LA works. You can thrive in LA. If he went to Philly, he would lose a toe. Guaranteed. He might lose multiple toes because that's what Philly does.
I actually think Philly is a great breeding ground for a lot of different talent. Like with any other place. Like I think a lot of things start in Philly.
It's a great breeding ground for what?
For talent.
For talent that falls apart.
No. You know how many talented people have come out of Philly?
Name them.
First, you can start with The Roots.
Can we talk about how Rocky
you
lost
can go Music Soul Child.
The majority
you can
of
go
his
Bilal. You can go Kevin Hart. You can go Beanie Sigel. You can go Meek Mill. You can go, what's the boxing name? Joe Louis? Joe Frazier.
Yeah,
Even though he's born in South Carolina, let's be clear on that. But Philly,
and then what happened when he was in
Will
Philly?
Smith,
what happened?
Jazzy Jeff.
Did you just name Jazzy Jeff in your list of Philly's most talented people?
Yes. You want to go ahead and sound clueless by saying something that you don't know what you're talking about clearly?
Jazzy Jeff is one of the most talented people that Philly has ever
Chris, do you want to tell him anything? Or am I just going to like...
Hold on. Jazzy fucking
Dwayne,
Jeff.
do you want to say... Does anybody want to comment?
Jazzy Jeff.
Hold on. Jazzy Jeff.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the most important DJs in the history of hip-hop.
Without question.
Without question. He's one of the first Transformer DJs. They're considered a joke now, but like they were one of the most important early groups in hip hop, without question.
Do you understand that at one point in time, the DJ was more important than the artist in rap groups? Eric B and Rakim, Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. That's why the DJ used to come before the MC's name. Jazzy Jeff was
That's why he had to be on the show.
He had to be. He had to be on the show. He wasn't just on the Fresh Prince because Will was his boy, and it's like, hey, we're gonna throw him out every other episode.
Absolutely, he was.
No, he was not.
You think that the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air wouldn't have worked without Jazzy Jeff?
Jazzy played an important part.
That was the important part that held the show together. That was
played an important part
that held the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Are you guys believing this nonsense?
Do you not remember Jazzy Jeff from that show?
Barely.
You're lying.
I barely remember Jeff.
That was one of the best scenes of the show for whatever episode. You sat there and wanted to see Jeff get thrown out.
Yeah.
You wanted to see that.
I would turn in every single week. Every single week I would turn in to watch him get thrown out. Absolutely.
Jazzy Jeff is
and that great dance move he had. What was it? The Carlton. Yeah, that's right. It wasn't the Jazzy Jeff.
What are you talking about?
That's my point. He doesn't have a fucking dance that anybody remembers. The only thing people remember that show is he got thrown the fuck out, and if he wasn't from Philly, he'd actually get to stay in a room. That's the reality of the matter, okay? Just admit that his career wouldn't have been broken if he wasn't from Philly. Philly will destroy you. Get out of Philly. Oh, absolutely. I don't. And there's a reason. There's a reason. Because Jazzy Jeff hasn't gotten to the point where you need to know about him.
That's not true. He's actually a great hip-hop icon.
Oh, yeah?
Absolutely.
Name a Jazzy Jeff album.
He doesn't have to have albums. His albums were the fucking Fresh Prince of Bel-Air albums. He's a great DJ.
He also helped usher in the whole neo soul movement from Philadelphia. Behind the scenes, he was a big part of that. Also, while we're naming famous Philadelphia artists, John Coltrane, Philadelphia, during his most creative period.
Okay, Chris was born in the 60s, so he's right. He's right,
Orchestra. Okay, you guys didn't mention Jill Scott. I would throw the all-time, or one time the all-time NBA scoring leader, Wilt Chamberlain, into that mix.
And he died at what age?
Yeah, but he had sex with over 30,000 women. So.
And when he started having sex with them, when he left fucking Philadelphia,
high school, Overbrook High.
That's what happened. I'm telling you.
I can tell you somebody. I can tell you somebody who's from Philly and still lives in Philly and never broke down.
Okay, who?
Patti LaBelle.
Patti LaBelle.
Patti fucking LaBelle still lives in Philly right now in a nice gated community, minding her goddamn business. And she ain't never broke that.
All right, Philly's got one. Philly got one person. This is really good. This is really.
Philly's a very rich city.
Philly is so accustomed to losing that in the last Rocky, which is a written, scripted film. Sorry, the last two Rockies, if you include Black Rocky, right? The protagonist loses. They're so used to fucking losing and being losers.
What do you mean?
That Rocky Balboa in Balboa loses the fight against whatever his name is, and then in the most the recent one, Michael B. Jordan loses his final fight as well.
But when he
they're
lost,
so accustomed to losing, they don't even have to win in fictional movies.
That's not true though.
You're gonna tell me that in the last Rocky, Rocky won?
It was a moral victory. He was 60 years old. He was. He was 60 years old. Put it like this. He won so much in that movie that you had to listen to actually hear him announce that Antonio Tarver was the winner. Because you know who they showed walking with their hands up and everybody cheering for? Rocky. He was 60 years old and went the distance with Antonio Tarver, who was the greatest fighter at that time. First of all, Rocky never loses in movies.
Rocky lost in the first movie.
Rocky lost. Didn't.
Are you not noticing what's going on? Oh, did he have another moral victory?
Yes.
Ooh, how cute. A moral victory.
Listen, that's the whole point of the Rockies.
I just want to put my moral victory belt up against my mantle.
No, time out.
That's okay. It's okay. It's okay, Greg.
I understand what you're saying. I know he lost, but I'm saying as far as the overall arch of the movie, it was designed for him to win over people, to win these moral victories.
That's all Philly ever can get is a moral victory because they don't get an actual victory.
That's not true.
Yes, it is true. Okay, think about it. Rocky
you must plan to never do shows in Philly.
I'm doing shows, by the way, in the new year. I'll be there in 2017, and that's going to be a good luck year for Philly.
Listen,
okay, I'm bringing good luck to Philly.
One thing about Philly, they may lose in a lot of things, but they will jump on your ass, black and white.
I believe that, dude.
Listen, you go to an Eagles game wearing the wrong jersey, you're going to get shit thrown at you. They're going to call you every name under the sun. It does not fucking matter.
Undeniable. Undeniable.
Philly fans?
Yeah.
Woo.
That's undeniable because they've been through the worst and they're still fucking there. Can we also notice in what is the Black Rocky movie called again?
Creed,
yeah. I'd like to also point out in Creed that not only did Michael B. Jordan lose, but his girlfriend also lost her hearing ability. So that just goes further into what happens when you're a Philly and your body just starts to break down like Ben Simmons' foot, like Joel Embiid's entire body, like eventually the Eagles' defense and offense will do, like pretty much everybody who's ever tried to do anything spectacular.
It's amazing how you've come to this one conclusion based off Ben Simmons' foot.
Ben Simmons' foot is the needle that broke Philadelphia's back.
You've come to this whole conclusion about Philly based off Ben Simmons' foot
was healthy. And he stepped on those Philly streets, and there's something in there. The same thing that broke a steel bell. How does a bell break?
Listen, what
the fuck could break a bell?
That same energy in Philly also created Will Smith. It also created Kevin Hart. It also created Patti LaBelle. It also created some very, very prominent people.
I will say this about Philly. The comics that come out of Philly, and there's a lot of comics in New York that have come to Philly, are some of the most naturally funny people I've ever met. I'm talking about like young guys that are in New York right now that I know. I mean, and also like, Spank is from Philly. I mean, Kev's boy Spank.
Yeah.
And I don't know Naeem that well, but like some of the most naturally funny people. And I think that comes from the fact that there's just so much hardships that you're coming from that you have to find a way to make this kind of shit funny. But so I will give them tons of credit in that regard. You can tell a guy who's at least I can, for example, tell a guy who's from Philly.
I mean, I think out of any struggle comes some of the greatest people. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't like people who don't have a story. You need to have a story. Like, people who have a real story, not only do they last longer in the game, their material is much stronger, especially when they're tapping into, that story that comes from a real place.
And their skin is thicker. And you've been through some shit. You're not as affected by nonsense.
Absolutely.